Jesus-seeking generation, equip us now for the work ahead as we follow you. This is your house. Oh, this is your house.
What's up, podcast listeners? Welcome to our first episode of the new year. Woo, woo, woo! Yeah! I am your host, Kaleb, and you'll notice today we don't have our usual co-host, Ethan Flannery, aka Chiefy. He is visiting his dad in the New Yorks. However, we have some of our youth leaders, very near and dear to my heart, not just because they've been in the game for a long time now, but because they are family. So this is my sister. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Hope.
And this is her husband and one of my best friends,
I am James. Hello.
James, a.k.a. JB, as we call him around the youth group, short for Jamie Boy. I'm super excited to have them on the podcast today, specifically as we are going to be looking at expectations for the new year, right? So this is our first episode of the new year. We are actually recording this on New Year's Day. Big shout out to these guys for joining me on what's normally a day off, a day of rest. And yet they're here recording a podcast. So really appreciate you guys hopping on. At the time this releases, it'll be a couple of days into 2025. And really, we're hoping that this conversation early in the year, in a time of New Year's resolutions and things like that coming up, offers you some perspective. Maybe as you're moving into a new year, new seasons, change is always coming up and things like that. So looking forward to a fun convo. Before we get to that, per our usual format, whenever we have new guests, we ask, what is something that not many people know about you that you would like to share with us this morning? So, sister, should we start with you?
Sure. I think some of you guys know this about me, but it's been a long time because I'm getting old. But
Getting old.
I am.
Oh my goodness.
I've been out of college for almost 4 years.
That's pretty crazy.
But when I was in college, I went to Bolivia with
Oh,
Engineers
yeah.
Without Borders.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a formal missions trip, right? It was more like civilly focused, right?
Yeah, I would say like humanitarian,
Nice.
like relief effort sort of thing.
Yeah, so while everything you guys did was honoring and glorifying unto the Lord, I guess like sharing the gospel, so to speak, wasn't maybe the primary objective. You guys were building stuff, right?
Yeah,
or trying to?
Yeah, the goal of Engineers Without Borders is to go build something for a community that is in need of some sort of thing. In our case, this random small farm community didn't have any sort of toilet or waste disposal, but this was just like an assessment
That's
trip.
important. Amen, JB?
Yeah.
We have it. Hallelujah.
Let the Lord use you.
Let the Lord
Yeah.
use you. Nice. Yes, it was a latrine, right? That's what.
Yeah, so we were just going to like scout it out and see what they needed and figure out where we could put latrines. And then COVID hit, and we never got to go back and actually install them. But about a month ago, I got pictures sent to me, and USF Engineers Without Borders went back and finally built those latrines.
No way, and
Yeah, I
they
never
built
told you.
them? That's
Yeah,
actually
they actually
so
built them.
cool.
So they sent us pictures of like literally the same people that we met and took pictures with, and now they have latrines. So.
I still have my, I think it's your first Bolivia
Yeah,
fundraiser.
the blue one, or is
And-
it green?
I have both actually,
Okay.
but I like the green one. That was like my favorite shirt for a long time. It has a little tear in the pocket, so I can't really wear it to church anymore.
True.
Not the most modest
True.
apparel, but yeah, nice. All right, yeah. So you went to Bolivia. How long were you there for?
About a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. We've got a group heading to Uganda in a couple of weeks, and I think it's funny that you say that. Actually, the group that's going this time is more of a teaching team than it is like a general missions team. And Justin was actually saying, I think he's interested in. They're starting a building project there as well, helping build a church, but he I don't know. It's funny to talk to him, like the way his mind works. He's way more interested in like the ins and outs of how that's going to come together at the practical level, in tandem with all the spiritual stuff they're doing. So I don't know. Might send him to you to run some stuff by you.
Send him to Dad more likely.
True that. JB, what you got, my friend? Something about you not many people know.
The only one I can think of is I had the privilege of being in a musical production of Les Mis. Actually, with Kaleb, we both played the same role on different nights.
No, at the same time.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys were the same person.
We were the same role.
It was a full-blown fist fight right on stage.
No, which is so crazy, bro. So is that you did more musicals than that, right?
No,
that was the only one you did?
I guess I did one in middle school, but honestly,
no, but in high school, like that was the only one.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever did.
And last.
So just so y'all know, listeners, James and I go way, way back. Not quite as far back as Hope and I go, but pretty comparably, all three of us can trace our relationship origin to this very church. For me, in a second grade class. For y'all, in a kindergarten class. I think that maths, where Hope and James met each other, and where I met James, and we grew up here in this church together. And then as we grew up, like obviously friends and that kind of thing, but then probably like middle school, right? Things started to like separate a little bit. We all went to different schools and stuff like that, different walks of life. And so James and I weren't as close in middle school. But then randomly in high school, I got recruited by like my assistant chorus teacher to join the cast for a musical that I had never seen before. Watched the movie, was like, oh, it's on like the French Revolution. If I get to be like a general or something like that, or revolutionaire, I'd be game. And then wouldn't you know it, walk in, there's old James Runey. And we went to like Moe's together and kind of rekindled some friendship.
We drove Miguel's truck together too.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe you let me take that truck.
That truck was nice too.
Yeah, but then we did a musical together. That prayerfully the podcast viewers and CCBU never see any kind of recording of that, but it's they're out there. So sweetness, man. Yeah. Well, here's to maybe do. You know what, JB? We technically did one other musical together.
Ruth.
We technically did. We did Esther first together.
Which one did you have the bowl cut
James
wig
played.
on?
That was Ruth. But James played Mordecai
I forgot.
in Esther.
Yeah.
So that one I more directed, but I forgot you were one of my leads.
I forgot. And did you have like a
in Esther,
cane back
bro?
then?
I did have
That was
a
when you
cane.
were hurt.
I wore
Yeah.
a Duck Dynasty beard, and I kicked that door open like Big Bird.
No, in real deal, like you and Jonathan Lewis almost had like a fist fight on stage
true.
during
I
that
thought-
one song.
I thought I was gonna lose.
That was crazy,
There
bro.
was so much passion in those eyes, man.
Dude, that's sending it way back. That had to have been like, what, 2019, 2018, something like
It's
that.
definitely before we were dating.
Yeah, wild.
And then he also was featured in the next one
Yes.
because he showed up at the end of the bowl cut wig.
Yes. James is notorious for appearing in unusual ways in productions, and appeared wearing a bowl cut wig. And that is on YouTube. You most certainly should look up that clip because it is well worth your time. All right, y'all. Well, beautiful. There's some things maybe you did know, maybe you didn't, but now you know our guests a little bit better. I will say, so I've been in oversight of the youth ministry here at Calvary Chapel Brandon really since like halfway through 2017. So whatever the math is on that, 7-ish years, something like that. And was it that year probably that you, at least Hope, started serving in youth ministry as one of our lady leaders? And then JB, you wouldn't have been long after that because you moved back from Washington, and
I was probably like late 2018.
18? Okay, so about a year later. Either way, as far as when we look at our current makeup of our youth group and even our current youth leaders, you guys have been in the game for a while now. Definitely longer than any of our other leaders, other than Angie's kind of been in and out through different seasons. Angie was a youth leader technically before I was even overseeing the youth ministry.
When we were in high school,
yeah. When we were in high school. But Angie went with Pastor Pete to Canada for 4 years, and it was during that time that we all got involved. And then she briefly got re-involved at one point, and then other responsibilities, and now she's back in it again. So other than potentially Angie, yeah, these are my longest standing youth leaders. JB at one point worked here at the church. Hope and I go all the way back to leading kids worship together. So these two have been very involved in the ministry. For those who've been part of our youth group for a while now, you guys know they've been in it through various seasons. And part of that life experience is really why I wanted to get them on the podcast for this particular topic as we look at expectations for the new year. I'll read to you guys. Well, let me pause for a moment. Normally at this point we would have an ad as we transition into our theological conversation. However, I did not have time to record a new ad this week for any upcoming events. So stay tuned because those are coming. But at this point, no break, no, zoom in on Ethan's face. That's coming later. We're going to now transition to our theological conversation. Transitioning, so because these two have been involved for so long and really have been through so many different seasons of youth ministry, I felt it appropriate to kind of have them on the episode where we're talking about expectations for this new year, really looking at kind of changes that might be coming, both personally for them as we kind of reflect a little bit on the previous year and then look to the new one, but also internal to our youth group after having undergone several major, seasons of change in and with the group. So let me read to you the scripture first in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. We believe Solomon writes, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." And really what Solomon is observing there is just these seasons of change, right? And in context to him, he's frustrated because life feels monotonous, and so he's kind of reflecting on these seasons, just going, oh, everything happens in its season and its appointed time and its appointed place, and nothing's new. But I think we as believers can have a different perspective on that chapter, knowing God is in control. He's sovereignly orchestrating things, and yet we get to play a role in the story that he's telling, and we get to react to, respond to, embrace, whether willingly or begrudgingly, these seasons that God is implementing. And so as we sit here kind of on the cusp of a major change, right? We're hitting 2025, and particularly for our audience, our youth kids who are honestly probably half at this point, like juniors and seniors. There's a lot of change coming in this new year. And so I guess first what I would like to do is just kind of ask these two who have been around for a while now, what are maybe some highlights of 2024 personally within the youth group, things that come to mind, and we'll kind of start there and we'll see where we end up.
You want to go first? You want me to?
Ooh, I guess I can go first. Just thinking back to 2024, one thing that's just like a highlight for me is just thinking back to the Orlando conference.
Oh,
and just
yeah.
like
Back in August.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like Hope and I's involvement with the youth group, like there's part of it where it's a different season for us too, where I feel like we've been like involved more in like past years, like thinking back to when we first started getting involved, like on Friday nights we were very like consistently coming for youth group nights, and then now in this different season for us, like we're focusing more on like the mission outpour of like our jobs, and I'm in school, and we, praise the Lord, just bought a house.
Yeah, woo woo.
The Lord is so good, and that's
CCB
another.
Youth, you're all invited to a painting party. I'm just kidding. You don't want that.
Watch over for something
Undisclosed
else.
I'm gonna throw
address.
paint on y'all if you come on my lawn. True. But just reflecting on different like seasons like that where we were more involved in the past and now probably aren't as much, still have some involvement, and we're blessed for the opportunity we get when we do have it.
Yeah.
That was one for me, just actually being able to be a little bit more involved than usual.
Yeah.
And just to see like now just kind of looking back at it and just reflecting on like how the kids have just like grown and like grown in the Lord, grown in their passion for Jesus, and just like sitting in the back with all the leaders and looking in front of me and seeing all these kids that like we knew when they were like in 6th, 7th grade, and they're all in high school now, and they're raising their hands for Jesus and just praising the Lord. And it's just like, it's something that's it's trippy for me, like just kind of seeing that. But I guess personally, a highlight for me is just actually having that involvement again where we haven't had it in the past, I guess. But
because that was an event that I wasn't here for. I was gone at training. Ethan had to dip out for a trip to his family as well, so you guys really like spearheaded that trip for the youth group. No, but I want to pick up on kind of something that you're getting at, because I think it's really important. For our CCB youth, I know like particularly a lot of our upperclassmen, like they were around when we did Friday nights consistently, right? And Friday nights is kind of like the Poppin' Youth Night. It's when we do everything. 3 hours of just like chaos and fun, and spiritually, yes, like the word was taught and the worship was done, but that was, an hour out of 3. And obviously, like there was a lot of challenges associated with making the decision to no longer do that on Fridays, to move over to Wednesdays. And for me, that was largely prompted by like a major season change with us having Haven, and even just with where Courtney's work and school were and things like that. That it was shortly before or after, I think it was actually like just before her birth that we made that decision to just do Wednesday nights instead of Fridays. And what I love about what you're saying, JB, is like, even though there's a part of you or a part of your heart that wishes almost like we could go back to that and like have that level of involvement and even like time, right, with the kids. You spoke so highly of this new season and even pointed out a few other aspects of like, instead of maybe being directly involved, now you're seeing a lot of the fruit of what was sown, what was tared. Is that the word?
I guess.
I don't even know. I don't know what that word means. But you get the idea, right? Like, there's something beautiful about that season, and that should be acknowledged. And yeah, like that season for you guys coming to an end, I don't know if hurts is the best word, but like there's a longing for that, and yet there's also optimism and joy found in this new season. And yeah, like you said, like there's a shift in priorities and focus that for like you guys now, you're married, you bought a house, like your jobs and your careers have to take on a greater focus. And like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like, would you say that almost there's been like a shift in calling that has like brought you to that place? Like maybe both of you can speak to that too. Like,
do you want to go or you want me?
You can answer that.
Not like a full-blown change,
Yeah.
right? Like God doesn't contradict himself, but like, go ahead.
I guess like one thing I think of is like God, like he kind of moves. I mean, he moves in different ways and everything, but also he speaks very well in like circumstance and just the way of like the way that things have played out, just like so naturally, where like I guess this change in calling is just more as we've grown and as we've like just walked with him, there's now just the different things that are in front of us.
Yeah.
So like right now it's our job, it's our work, it's serving in children's ministry worship now,
That's a whole
super
Was
blessed
that this
with.
year that we instituted
that was this year.
Yeah.
First of this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, beautiful, man. Well, and I think from that, like, there's a huge takeaway, and we'll probably harp on this a little bit more, especially as Hope starts to chime in a little bit more. But CCB Youth and potentially other podcast listeners, I think that's a really important takeaway that I want you to glean from this episode right up front. Is I know this is kind of cheesy, but it's where my mind goes. At the start of the Avengers Endgame movie, Tony Stark has this glorious quote where he, as he's about to die in space, literally just says, "All good things must come to an end." And like when you first hear that, there's this gut reaction of like, "No, it doesn't. I hate that. Like, I can just continue to have everything I love forever." And it's like, hey, if you have an eternal mindset within the kingdom of God, like, yeah, everything that's important, significant, worthwhile in Jesus, you will have in eternity forever. But this side of eternity, we operate with the curse and joy of time. And the reality is, like, the whole idea behind something temporal, right, bound to time, is that it has an expiration date. It does end. And that's where, like, particularly for our CCB youth, like, hey, maybe you are brand new to this group, brand new sixth grader, and you're low-key kind of like mourning children's ministry in a sense, because things are different over here, right? There's a lot more fun, but like, yeah, you got to sit still for 35 minutes and listen to a Bible study. You can't just do whatever you want in terms of the free time. Like we watch you guys. We make sure that there's a level of social engagement and incorporation into the broader group. Maybe you are in youth group and have been in it for a couple years, but maybe like your primary friend group is moving on or has moved on or was left behind, and you're still like struggling with that. Maybe you're a senior and you're like staring at that great, cliff overlooking the future of your life, and you're just like, man, like everything I love about this current season is about to end. And while I'm excited for maybe some of this new stuff, like I just want to acknowledge there is a time to mourn, and even a level of mourning that can come seasonally, like almost like grieving, that can hit you when you look back on a really enjoyable, formative, positive era of your life. And that's okay. Like it's okay to be nostalgic about that, to look back and go, man, I really wish we could do that again, could have that again. I think the danger and maybe the caution that you should apply is not becoming so fixated on the past that you don't embrace your future and that you don't acknowledge the good times that still exist ahead and or are happening in the present, And that's what I love most about what you said, JB, is while like even the youth conference this year that you got to take the kids on was almost like a return to that era. You still on the regular are in this new season of watching the fruit of that which has been sowed. I'm really enjoying watching new leaders rise up. We got Daniel in the mix. We got Angie back. Ethan stepping up in a big way. And I'm super excited for this next season of youth ministry. And not just for like the kids who are currently involved, but as Ethan figures this out and as others do, for the third graders that I'm looking at right now that are like, man, when you get to youth group, it's gonna be popping, and there's something beautiful about that, right? Like we can't all perpetually just live in high school or late middle school and like relish the youth group season. Like you've got to grow comfortable with the reality that like, man, this has got 4 years of my life, and then it's not like my life is over. Like there's a lot of really wonderful things still to come. So Cesar, you got any comments to highlight or something to mention there? Piggyback on that.
I think it's funny, we're just talking so much about like seasons of change, and James always jokes that my biggest fear is change.
Really?
I hate
what?
I
That's
hate
crazy.
change. I know my coworkers make fun of me too, and I told them the other day, I was like, I know a change that I like. I like the time change. And they were like,
You know the current administration is
I
actually
know.
looking at...
People want to get rid of it, but I
Yeah.
like the time change. And they were like, oh yeah, you're right, you do like that. And they were like, wait, no, that's not. It's like the most constant change, though. It happens every
It
year.
does.
That's why you like it, because
That's
you know it's
hilarious.
coming.
You know it's coming.
Yeah.
It's part of your routine.
Yeah, but I hate change in theory. And then I also was cringing when you told us that this theme was about New Year's and expectations, because you had the youth kids raise their hands and say like things that were happening, and you know, Ben graduating, Liz getting her license, whoever, they all had kind of planned big changes coming, and James and I really don't have planned changes, thankfully so far. But then I just kind of thought, in hindsight to this last year, like a lot of crazy things happened to us that we did not expect at all.
Yeah.
Like the first thing being, yeah, you're right, we started doing kids worship. Like we really stepped out of main service worship. We've been doing that just as long as we've been doing youth group. Like
Right. Wow.
it's probably weird for the kids to hear that, but like I did just as much worship as, you know, Grace and Uriah Ben do now when I was in middle school, high school. James too, even more so, but we stepped out of that and into something else, which we wouldn't have expected, but honestly enjoy so much more. And like it's just cool to see God, you said, you know, changes your heart. And I think too it's realizing like maybe you're not the most effective in the ministry you're doing, but maybe God could use you somewhere else. And we've totally seen that with children's ministry, and like it blesses our hearts probably more than anybody else. We just have so much fun doing it. But like that was unexpected. And then I think the next big thing we were praying about seriously what was Africa this past summer. Like we were praying hard about it. If you know me, I've wanted to go to Africa since I was, you know, in high school. I picked my college major based off that. Like it's been a real desire. But then I got really sick. Like I was in the hospital for a week with pneumonia and sepsis. And I mean, like traveling was not an option for me, and God closed that door. But then literally, I think the day that they came back from Africa was the day we closed on our house. So like that was so cool. You know,
Side note, we looked at our house, and like Hope actually like found it on like Zillow or whatever home app in the hospital. And then
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had a lot more time, so I was scrolling, and we drove by it. Like when he drove me home from the hospital, I was like, we're driving by that house. So just, I guess my point to our youth.
While you were literally on the way home from the
Yes,
hospital?
the Friday we went home,
That's
we drove by the house.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is crazy, but it's just, my whole point is, especially for someone who hates change, a lot of change happened this year. None of it was expected. Like those 3-4 things I just named, we did not start the new year knowing those things were going to happen.
Right.
They just did. And some of it was great, some of it was hard. But we wouldn't change a thing about it. But I think just be flexible and like be willing for God to change your heart or open different doors, close different ones, and just be willing to experience all that God has. And I love that you shared that Ecclesiastes verse, because when I was thinking about what are we guaranteed for this year of life? We're guaranteed that we're going to suffer at points. We're going to experience hardship. We're guaranteed that we are going to be blessed and feel the love and joy of Christ at points. Like those are the only things I know, is that we're going to feel really every wave that life brings at some point. But I don't want to change it, because we're not meant to be in control of that, but just let it happen. You know?
Amen.
No, and I think like similarly, I think right back to that idea of like good things coming to an end. Like part of the reason there's so much fear with change is because we grow comfortable and content with everything that we have. You know, I remember talking to a friend of mine about like us having kids, and I was like, you know, kind of giving him a hard time, and I was like, come on, bro, like when are you guys gonna, you know, have kids and that kind of thing. And in talking with him, it was kind of like, we love our lives so much, like why, like yes, the idea objectively of having a kid is amazing, but like we're not looking to make that change right now. And right or wrong, you know, as far as that goes, like the Lord shows you the right timing on all of that. But on the flip side, like I think on principle, like that fear of the unknown, you know, can kind of change and alter your whole perspective on life. And that's why, like, even if things aren't like when I think back to like some of the golden ages of youth group and like whether in my own oversight or even when we attended, right? Like we talked a little bit about this before recording this. Crazy to like go play sports day, on the day after Christmas with
Crimmy.
the day after Christmas. No, with some of our friends that like we went to youth group with in town, David Abraham, like the same field that like when we were 17 running around playing frisbee on, like just crazy to go back to the same, competitive personalities and the same, waiting for somebody to like throw a rock at your brother. I'm just kidding.
People
like
change, but they also don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh,
like,
he was so mad.
so mad about
Threw
that.
a rock at your brother.
That was the reverse.
It was a reverse.
But no, like
I don't think he knew that.
when I think back, I just outed somebody on the podcast. No, but when I think back to those moments, like there was a lot of really negative things going on during some of that season.
Yeah.
My wife and I went through 3 breakups, relationally, like during that time period. Like I idolized my youth pastor, but like we were even joking about like some of the things that we did to him that added tension to the relationship. Sneaking out during all night. It came up, bro. We were talking about when me, James, and Jordan, left property on an all-nighter and ran to Walgreens JB, you were what, like 13?
Yeah.
Like
What were
I
you
was
trying to
running the
get?
streets.
Candy?
we got candy, baby.
Yeah,
I had to get some gummy bears before that all-nighter. But like those moments where I'm like, as a youth pastor, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I had to send all of us home, dude.
Yeah.
And there were tense moments, there were challenges, there were struggles, there were things that we had to overcome. It wasn't all rainbows and unicorns, and yet in the present circumstances, sometimes I think back to that and I'm like, oh yeah, like it was all the good old days. Everything was fine, and that's where I just say like, hey, as you're looking to this new year, just like Hope said, maybe you don't have a bunch of things planned, you don't have a bunch of changes on the horizon that you are fully preparing for, and yet the reality is like living in this fallen and broken world and being submitted to a God who is in control means the picture perfect perception you have of what this year is going to look like and hold is just not reality. Things are going to come up. We are promised trials, tribulations, but also, and it was funny, I was talking with somebody about this last week, even the idea of blessings, right? Like we are told, follow the Lord, obey him, and generally speaking, there will be blessings that come from that, right? But our perception of blessing oftentimes is smooth sailing, calm waters, and like it's all going to be easy. And the reality is like those trials oftentimes are what bring you closer to the Lord. They are exactly what God is going to use to take you deeper, to take you to that true blessing, which is a better understanding of him, a greater dependence upon him, and even, the best way to describe it would be like a blessing in disguise, right? Like it's not a blessing when you're in the thick of it, and yet it is something that's so important and needed. And in hindsight, you can look back and go, wow, that actually was a great thing. Kind of like how you described your sickness,
Yeah.
JB and I were talking, this has been a very go season, and we had some plans and things like that we wanted to do, and then James got sick in the middle of it, and even that sickness was a blessing because it made him chill out and rest a little bit, which was super needed. And so I just bring all of that up to say, like, don't get so bogged down in developing mindset that your past was better than it really was, because reality is life, and there's ups and downs always. And on the flip side, like as you look to the future, like just be open, like Hope said, to whatever God may want to do, because it's in that openness that you will be able to roll with the punches of change, of trial, of tribulation, and come out on the other side blessed, and I think that's huge. Man, any other thoughts on that before I ask you guys something else?
I'm just gonna say one more thing. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I think I've observed, not just in our lives, but also with some of the youth kids, kind of seeing them step into different ministries or seasons as well. And I think the first person that comes to mind is Micah, who makes the coffee now.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
that was new this year. And I don't know, it's just cool that he got open this like new ministry that didn't even exist a year
Right,
ago, but
right.
he's made coffee. Gracie made me an amazing iced latte on Sunday. Like, just cool to see like new ministries form that maybe are like just really well catered towards someone you don't expect. I think I'm always surprised when I see my little brother Ben playing drums, because I don't think of him as a drummer.
He doesn't think of himself
I
as
know,
a
but
drummer.
he does such a good job.
He
And
really
I mean,
does.
God uses him greatly too, and he leads. But
Hey, Grinch Grow 3.
Grinch Row 3.
oh yeah, whatever.
Had to go on the podcast, yo.
Oh my goodness. But
Grinch
also
Row
like
3.
bringing it back, the
Our 3 sizes.
can you stop, please?
Yeah. No, you got me started.
Grinch
I
Grow
can't
3
stop.
is a Christmas band. Christmas is over.
No, it's like Hallmark. It's year round. You know?
How long did you come up with that one? What did you come up with that one for? Anyway,
That's going to be on the album.
Elizabeth and Grace, and probably
Yeah, every time I
Nova.
hear Lizzie sing, like it blows my
That's
mind.
crazy.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
well, I was gonna say
Yeah.
seeing them sing and kind of dance in the Christmas play. I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah, yeah,
expecting
yeah.
it,
That's awesome.
but just being like open to just serving the Lord, no matter
Right.
what it looks like. I don't know. That's just blessed my heart to see.
And just like to what you touched on too is like Micah and Grace serving in like the kind of coffee ministry and like Lord opening up these like different avenues, and just thinking about like how ministry in itself can look so different everywhere, and it can be complex, but it can also be so simple but used so beautifully. That's one thing like I'm just kind of like in awe of just like thinking about how God can use this just very simply in just a very like practical way, or a way that's, how you said, just very niched out, like, and just like you can step right into.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, dang, that's so good. Are there any things that you are really hoping for in this new year, personally? I know you said you don't have plans or changes planned and things like that. I've got some major changes planned
Yeah.
in this new year that I can talk to you in a second. But are there things that you're hoping for? Maybe even like, are there resolutions that you're setting in place, like at the simple level, or like, I don't know, maybe there's an event or something like that that you're hoping things will work out for. I know you guys are hoping to get your house painted before you get back to work tomorrow.
I thought you were gonna
but-
say get our house paid off. I was like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
Hey, if Nana wins the lottery, that's what she said.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there are definitely things we're like hoping for. I always tell James, if I can think it or say it, it's probably not going to be how God does it. So I almost,
that is good.
I'm not trying to be cheesy. I'm just meaning like,
Hold on, if there are
If I-
things that I can say or think,
if I can think it or say it, it's probably not going to be how God does it. So sometimes I try not to say it because I want God to do it that way. So maybe if I don't say it, He will.
if I can think it or say it,
It's probably not how God's going to do it.
probably not. That's so good.
But I think for both of us, we're not quite ready to have kids yet, but it's definitely a desire, and we really want and plan to grow our family through adoption. And
Can't wait to be an uncle to your children.
yeah,
I said that so weird.
I
That
can.
sounded so-
We can truly say it
Children.
is a pleasure to be an aunt and uncle to your children,
Yeah,
but
oh, that's good.
we don't know what that looks like yet. But I think, in my mind, this is a year of kind of preparation and getting ourselves into a place where we could better see ourselves doing that. And
Wow.
I think the house was a first step for us. I think kind of figuring out my job and what working and being a mom someday will look like.
Yeah.
I think just trying to kind of set ourselves up better for that.
Right.
Right. And then, I mean, I think professionally, like, I hit 4 years in June as
Come
as
on.
an engineer, so it's
Hey,
time.
in this like job climate and world, I think the average lifespan of a millennial's starting career profession is like 5 years. I think
Really?
I read that.
That sounds high to me.
Yeah.
I'd be
Millennial. Gen Z is
Oh,
Gen Z
millennial.
is shorter.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know if all the stats are out there on that. You guys are technically Gen Z. I forget about that, but
True.
yeah, millennials.
5 years.
commitment is not our
No,
strong suit.
it's our grandparents and our parents' generation.
Right.
But anyway, I hit 4 years, so it's time for me to take the big test and try to become a professional engineer where I can sign things.
Nice.
Not that I really want to sign anything, but that's, I guess,
Could I
just
get your autograph?
no. That's just a practical goal. James, I don't know if you want to share.
Ooh, practically, yes. Things like painting the house and talking with Hope, like just different things that we're wanting to do to the house. I guess like to kind of make way for like one day, like having children, like we were talking about, just like getting all like, I guess the big stuff in our mind just like out of the way as far as like renovations go with our house. Like I need to put in a new sink because it's pretty hard to wash dishes with the shallow sink we got. And just like, I don't know, just different things like that, I guess, practically.
It basically means we want to fix everything now while we have money before we have kids and are broke.
You want to know something right now going on in my house? I don't know how it happened, but something weird happened with my garage door. Not like the big one, but like the door that leads to my garage from my house. And it got shut and stuck the other day. Yeah, so praise the Lord. It happened while I was inside the house. But like you can imagine my frustration of like trying to get ready to go to work. I had just gone on a run. Courtney and the kids had just left to go see cousins and stuff in town. I was getting ready to go to work, got back, literally showered, got dressed, trying to get out my garage door and it won't open. I was so mad. So literally had to like leave my front door unlocked so that Courtney and the kids could get back in while I was at work. And then literally that night had to take the garage door handles off. So now, and I just haven't had time in the craziness of the season to like go get a new set. So we just have our laundry basket holding the garage door shut from the inside and a hole. And Haven and Maverick will like walk up to it and just like look through the hole into the garage, and it's like the most entertaining thing in the world.
That's hilarious. Remember that time that you locked Bean in the house?
I do remember
when he was the baby?
Mom had to break that joker open. I do remember that. That was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I didn't hear about that.
Well, I'm with you, bro. I already have kids, but I've got a lot of things I need to fix on my house going into this new year. CCBU, I announced this. I mean, most of you guys were tracking, but I formally announced it on this past Sunday. I've been working here. If you include the time that I started interning, I'm coming up in June. I will hit 10 years.
Oh my goodness!
Working at
you
Chapel
far
Brandon.
exceeded that statistic.
Yeah. Full time, I just completed, I think, my 8th year full time. I just started my 9th year full time at Calvary Chapel Brandon. And 2025, very realistically, will probably be my last year working here, depending upon how things go at the Navy and if there's a hope or prayer, it's that I do get selected this summer by my care board, and we'll be going active duty in the Navy, and wherever the Navy and the providential hand of God send, that's where we'll be headed. But that's a big change for this ministry, for our youth group, for all of our listeners pretty much, for you guys with niece and nephew, because we could be going as close as Jacksonville, Florida, a couple hours away, or we could be going to like Guam. You know, like there's just it's a big mystery and adventure. But similarly, right, like the theme of this podcast being seasons of change, expectations for the new year, and the reality that all good things must come to an end, but you have to resolve in your heart that you're going to keep moving forward and keep pressing on, because the Lord has more in store for you. And so while there is a time to mourn and grieve what was lost in a sense, Mike Donahue puts it this way: every funeral has a wedding that immediately follows, right? When something ends, there's something beautiful that starts in a new season. And when things start, there's uneasiness and there's, figuring things out, but it develops into something that many people will look back on and say, oh, those were the good old days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a constant cycle. And that's where Solomon gets so mad, because he's like, oh, it's just monotony. But when you got the optimistic perspective, it's like, man, always comes full circle, so we don't have to grieve because nothing's ever really lost. And yet on the flip side, we can have joy in the midst of that loss, knowing eternity is going to hold so much more in store for us. So that's beautiful.
That was very C.S. Lewis-ish.
No greater compliment than that. All right, y'all, unless you got any further comments, I think that's probably good. CCB Youth, hang in there as we enter this new year. Be excited because God's got amazing things in store for you, and yet be real in knowing it's going to have some challenges, it's going to have some hard moments, but those are part of the process. They're important, and they can't, I don't know, stop what God is doing. Therefore, roll with the change and see what God does. Amen?
Amen.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back for a throwback game that you guys will enjoy. Here we go. Hey, podcast listeners, thanks for bearing with us on these breaks. As always, we just want to remind you to send in your questions, your comments, your suggested topics, and or feedback to the Calvary Chapel Brandon Youth email, which is ccbyoutthhouse@gmail.com. We love hearing feedback on the show. We would love to hear, once again, your thoughts and or ideas. If there are guests you want, if something's not working, is working, whatever, hit us up at ccbyoutthhouse@gmail.com. Thank you.
Do we need paper?
You might, or you can use your phone.
Type on our phones?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're back. CCB Youth. It's almost, Hope just brought it up. It's like Ethan is here with us in spirit because we keep seeing his face. There he is right there. Oh, hello, Chiefy.
It's a beautiful boy.
Yes, beautiful boy. All right, y'all, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play, as we enter this new year, we are going to throw it back to the first game we ever played on the first episode of this podcast. Minus Chiefy, I know, but once again, we got 2 new guests, so it'll be fun. I forget what I called it. I think the letter game or something like that on the first episode. Basically, what we're going to do is one of us is going to pick a letter. Then all 3 of us are going to take 30 seconds and write down a person, place, or thing that starts with that letter. We're going to keep it mostly Bible-oriented as we did the first time we played it, but we also might do like a New Year's theme or a Christmas theme kind of letter as well. And the goal is for ideally all 3 of us, but even if 2 out of 3 of us get the same thing, we get a point, and we played with Ethan last time, first to 3 points. So, for example, I'll start, and I'm going to keep it easy because Ethan did X the first time we played this. Nothing in the Bible starts with X except Xerxes. We're going to start with, let's do E, all right? So the 3 of us are going to have 30 seconds to write down a person, place, or thing that starts with the letter E that is in the Bible. It can't just be any person, place, or thing. It's got to be in the Bible. And once we write down, or once 30 seconds is up, then we'll share, and we'll see how many points we get. Okay. Dragon?
Yeah.
I'm going to use my phone as well because I can do the timer on there. Let me get the timer
I
going.
can write faster than I can type.
Here we go. Cancel timer. 30 seconds. Come on. What in the world? There we go. All right. E. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, start.
Person, place, thing.
Yep. Three, 2,
That was quick.
I know it's fast. All right, let's start with person. JB, who you got?
I got Ezra.
Oh, I put Ezra too.
I literally knew you two were always gonna get the same one.
I thought I was gonna be
I put
the
Esther.
Esther.
Oh,
All
that's a
right,
good
so hold on. So JB and I each got a point on
You
that.
two are always gonna think alike.
JB, here, Kaleb,
say?
and
Grinch growth.
Hope. All right, so JB. Well, we'll wait till we finish the round, tally up points. But that's one right there for us. All right, place. Here we go. Hope.
Ephesus.
JB, what you got?
Egypt.
Ooh, I put Ethiopia.
Dude, I was about to as
The
well.
Ethiopian eunuch, bro. That was you, dog.
Dude, that was me.
All right, no points for any of us there. All right, and the thing, I'll start. I put ear, like Malchus's ear that Peter chopped off. We may try to arrest Jesus. What you got, Sister?
I knew this was a crazy one. I put Ebenezer.
Oh, an ebony. Oh, that'd be dope for like a Christmas Bible thing. I like it. JB, what you got?
Yeah, that's so good. I put elbow.
Where in the Bible does it talk about an elbow?
It's not there.
But they all have them.
They all have
And God
elbows.
made elbows.
You trying to tell me? Yeah,
God made Adam, and his elbow
on
was
the eighth day.
elbowest of them all.
The elbow was made on the eighth day.
So Adam was elbowless for a while.
Elbowless until then. All right, JB got one. I got one. And Hope got Big O. All right, Sister, you pick the letter this time.
I'm gonna go with C.
C. All right, let me pull it up. Here we go. 30 seconds on the clock.
Still
and,
Bible?
Yes, still Bible themed. Here we go. Boom. All right, that's it.
I wrote that one late.
It's all good.
We'll allow it.
Even if it's just a minute. All right.
I don't think that's a thing though.
Oh wait, hold up. Wow, I totally got it mixed up.
Oh, you can say it in the order you meant it.
Yeah. No, your order's fine as long as you got three.
I was about to
things
say Cephas is not a thing.
Cephas?
Yeah.
I don't even know where that came from.
That's got to be a person, but
Josephus? Is
no,
that what you're-
Cephas. I feel like is a person. Someone with Paul somewhere with a C.
That's fine. Let's find out. Cephas. He's probably like one of the guys Paul addresses in a letter.
Yeah, maybe one he throws shame on. Oh, Saint
Peter.
Wait, was that?
Oh,
It's another
Peter's real
name for
name.
Peter.
It does say that.
Another name for
that's,
Peter.
That's what it is.
There you
Cool.
go.
Well,
All
that
right.
was
Oh, it's
good.
raw, or it's
Does it? Oh, well, that would be.
that's little stone.
In Hebrew?
Greek.
Greek? Yeah, you're right. It would have been Greek at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Well,
I took some
it
time on
counts,
that
but
too.
did you have Cephas?
I did
guess it
not have
counts.
Cephas.
I guess technically it's a thing because it's a little
It's a
stone.
little it could be either.
Okay.
I put Kaleb with a C.
Oh, I hate that guy. I did not.
Who
I
had?
put Cain.
I put Cain.
Did you really?
Yo, dude, let's
Yo,
go.
No,
that's it,
That,
man.
that says coin.
No, it. Baby.
Just kidding.
That
Oh
says
wait. All right. Side note. All right. The world needs to know this. All right. I'm gonna tell Hope's joke, and I'm gonna give her
No,
credit.
no.
No, I'm giving her. Okay.
let me tell
All right,
it.
then she tells
I
it.
wrote
Go.
a Christian joke.
Yeah.
What did Abel say to his brother when the storm came?
Abel say to his brother.
Hurricane. I wrote that.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Anyway.
Christian comedy.
All right.
Beautiful. All right. So
well,
Cain was your person.
But he also
Cain-
had Cephas. So which
Cephas
one
can
was
be
your
his
person?
thing.
That's why I thought that said coin.
I hacked the system, yo.
Hack the system.
Just
baby.
put two people and you're bound to have one of them.
Uh-huh,
right?
there you go.
Fine. Fine,
Okay.
fine, fine.
Rip.
Place. I put Colossi.
I put Corinth.
I put church. We ain't bound, baby.
I love it. I love it. That's so good. All right. And the thing. JB, what'd you put?
He didn't have
I
a
put
thing.
Cephas.
Oh, Cephas was a small stone. Well, guess what? I didn't put that. Sister?
I put cord.
Cord. That would have been good. I put Colosseum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, Come on, man.
That was actually a typo. When I typed Colossi, it auto-corrected to Colosseum, and I was like, oh, dope, that'll just be my thing, too.
It's kind of a place.
It is both, yeah.
It's kind of like Cephas.
It's kind of like Cephas, yeah. Rig the system there.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so JB and I each got another point. Seaster still rocking at the big O. All right, JB, you got to pick the letter this time, my guy.
A.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, shoot. I already started.
It's fine. Can I Google mine, make sure it's a thing?
Sure.
Because it'd be awkward if it wasn't. Well, I guess I'm going with it.
Okay. I know I got mine down at the last second. All right, JB, kick us off. Who's your person?
Aaron.
Who'd you put?
Abel.
I put Adam.
Man.
I just made a joke about Abel.
Yeah, that should have been on my mind. I literally, my mind, when I start thinking of Bible stuff, works almost chronologically, and I just like start at the beginning. That's why it's been Cain, Adam.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. Place. I put AI.
Oh, that's good.
I put Antioch.
I am like almost sure this is the name. Arimathea?
Yeah, Joseph of Arimathea.
Got you. Cool.
Cool.
That was the guy who got Jesus' body, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's where the garden tomb is.
Sick.
Or I don't know, that's in Arimathea, but that guy owned that tomb. Okay, and then the thing, Seaster.
I put alabaster glass.
I did too!
Nice.
He put just alabaster. Will you allow
No,
it?
that's totally 100%.
Yeah!
I
Nice.
put Ark, and I was definitely about to be
Ark.
like, Noah's Ark or the Ark of the Covenant, could have been either.
You really are chronological.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
the,
All right,
like,
so
most
Hope got
random one we
one.
put.
JB technically just won it there with 3 points.
Oh.
However, I say we go to 5.
Yeah,
Because
let's do it.
we've only each done
Yeah.
one letter, right?
Okay.
But JB's gotten a point every round.
Yeah.
JB's killing it over
Let's
there.
go.
All right.
I never win none.
Nice, bro. All right, we keep it up. We got those 3. All right, so who's it up to now? Is it back to me for the letter?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do W. I don't even know. I got nothing in mind. We're just going to run with it. Here we go. 30 seconds. Boom.
Dude.
This is actually crazy.
Yeah, this is really hard.
I think I got it, man.
Dude, I did not even come up with a place. All right. JB, what'd you put for your person?
I put Waldo.
Where's Waldo? He's not in the Bible.
All right. Sister?
I put woman at the well.
Oh my gosh, we did the
Nice.
same
Dude.
thing.
You guys-
That's
Nice.
crazy.
That's literally all I had.
Is it-
Nice.
this is so
That's
fitting.
so good.
Originally, I
can't
just wrote
believe that.
woman, and I was like,
Right.
at the well.
That's so good.
Cool.
All right, I did not have a place. JB, did you have a place?
I put wall, like the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem.
Oh yeah, okay, I give it to you as a place.
I
but
put wall of Jericho.
I just put wall. I did not.
I'm game. I'll give it to you.
No,
Wall.
no,
Let's see.
no, throw
you
it
say
out.
no?
No,
All
throw
right.
it out. I was doing all
What?
this.
Because
like-
you want? I guess it.
No, because I was doing all this like joking. But
Okay.
I'm not receiving
Okay,
the
and then
point.
the thing.
It's probably the easiest.
Sister?
I put water.
I put water
Nice.
too. Oh my gosh, I stuck at my mic. JB,
I put Wemby.
Wemby. What is Wemby?
He knows he's winning, so he's just throwing away. I thought it said.
What's
Womb.
the matter with Wemby?
How about the womb?
So, sister, we got 2 points, right?
Nice.
So Hope is tied up now with JB, and I
'Cause
have
you threw
4.
yours away.
I threw it away.
This is why you don't win, because he has it and then he throws it away with
That
Wombi.
is-
What's the matter with Wemby?
For person, I was this close to doing Wycliffe, like the Wycliffe Bible translation.
God.
But that's not technically in the Bible. He's much later than
But
the
the
Bible.
Bibles might say it.
That's hilarious.
The
All right,
Bible.
we're gonna mix it up. Let's do a New Year's theme.
Okay.
So something associated with like New Year's in some regard. You're open to your subjective interpretation because remember the point is not coming up with something; it's trying to match somebody else.
True.
So really, it doesn't matter which put.
Oh, I guess that's true.
You
You
know,
could make
you really
nonsense
could just
if
put
someone
whatever.
matches
It's
it.
just
Yeah.
if someone matches. So, all right, here we go. New Year's. Oh, Sister, you got.
I'm thinking F.
F. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds on the clock. Boom.
Yeah.
How much time we got?
You got. That's it.
Okay. Guess we're going with that. I don't
Yeah,
love these.
same thing. Okay, this is all very relative. I will not even lie. All right, what's the person you put?
You're peeking at mine.
I did look at it.
I put friends.
But I didn't look at it before because
Oh.
I also put friend.
Let's
go.
Whoa, what'd you put?
JB.
I put Felicia.
Well, maybe Felicia's your friend.
Who's Felicia?
You even know Felicia.
How's that New Year's?
I don't.
He
No, it's the past year because I'm
Yeah.
saying bye Felicia.
Bye,
Oh,
Felicia.
I thought it was a word of prophecy that you would
I
have
love
a
it.
friend.
You're gonna have a new
named-
I
friend
hope-
named Felicia.
Man, God bless you,
Dang,
Felicia.
sister,
wherever
we
you
just
are.
rocked that. We got a point.
Cool.
All right. Place.
I put Finland.
JB.
I don't even.
Florida.
Florida.
That makes so much sense. Finland is not in my future.
I put France.
France.
Yeah, no points
All
there.
right.
All right, and then a thing. What did you put?
Fun.
Oh, that would have been great, JB.
Fireworks.
Oh,
that was actually
even
really
better.
good.
I put freedom.
Oh.
Even
July 4th.
better.
Yeah, it is more July 4th-y. That's why I was laughing.
Freedom.
All right, no points on this.
Dang, Caleb's got 4 points.
I just got
Oh,
five
you got
there
five.
because
There
you
you
got
go.
1, you got 4. All right, we're all within winning place. So one more final round.
All right.
JB, you're picking the letter. And let's do, okay, I'm going to get real niche on this one. You ready? Bible Christmas. So like the first Christmas themed
Answers.
Answers.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Pick a letter. This is why I didn't think the 5-second game would work.
Yeah, would work.
B.
B. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, go.
We should at least get one of the same.
Nice.
I hate my answers.
This is good. I like this. Okay. JB, kick us off. Person.
Oh no.
I want to tell everybody I meant to spell Bartholomew, but here I'm gonna read it out how it's written. I put Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. It's French. It's French for taking bath.
Okay. Why I didn't put baby Jesus, I'll never know.
Oh,
you
that's
put?
what I put.
I put Boaz. He's in the lineage of Jesus,
yes, he
right?
is. I put baby Jesus.
That made so much
but
sense.
I was actually afraid that y'all might not count that because it's like a technicality.
I think that's exclusively
so-
the Jesus in the.
Right.
The
So I thought it would
Christmas
work. My follow up would have been Balthazar, which is historically believed to be the name of the African American wise men
Oh,
who
what's
was
his
there.
name?
Balthazar.
I like that.
But yeah, no, I put baby Jesus. So 0 points across the board on
That
that
made
one.
the most sense, though.
All
Give you
right.
that.
Place. I put Bethlehem.
Me too.
But Bethlehem.
Nice!
Nice.
3 points, baby.
Cool.
That's the first time we did that. Bethlehem across the board. All right, and then thing. Sister?
I hate my answer. I don't know why I put this, but I put Ben, B-I-N,
Ben.
because I'm thinking
Putting him in a
put him in a bin.
Hey, you can't put Jesus in a bin.
What is
That's
it
all
really
I'll
called?
say. Like a manger?
A manger.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
The bin. I get it though. I see where you come
I
from.
couldn't come up with anything better.
Uh-huh.
I hate to end that way.
Well, JB, what you
We
got?
were so close, it almost makes me mad.
Oh.
I put bed. I was like, bed. It's like we were both on like the right track, but we like just
Yours
didn't.
made actually more sense.
I put barn.
Oh, okay.
Like out in no room in the main or
All
in
right.
the end. So that would have been 1 point for each of us, though, right? Because we all got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you win.
So
6
I
points.
did win. This is the
Nice.
first game, other than the first time Ethan and I played this.
Yeah.
And we did 6-5-4.
Oh.
JB had the lead, but you throwed it away on the W, baby.
Yeah.
It's all good.
You had the W.
I couldn't
Sister
think of
was
no
right there
W.
behind me with 5, and then JB with 4. Either way, that was pretty
It was a
fun.
good
That was
game,
good. That was a
yeah.
good time.
Oh,
I never
yeah.
get to play the games. I'm always hosting
Oh.
them, so
Nice.
it's pretty
I
fun.
didn't realize
Pretty fun that we
that.
got to do it.
Nice.
All right, y'all. CCBU, thanks for tuning in and watching this episode. Happy New Year to you all. Excited for another year with the CCB Youth. And hey, even though I mentioned that I might be heading out, that wouldn't be until like October at the earliest. So we still here for most of the year. Want to clarify that. Once again, thanks for watching. We'll be back with Ethan next week. I don't know what we're talking about, but we're excited about it. And big thank you to our guests. Yeah. For joining us today. And hey, we love you guys. We'll be around here at our services if you need us. And hey, like the ad said, send in those memes because potentially on our next episode, Ethan and I are going to view our favorites, show them. I think I've only received 1, maybe 2, so y'all should get on that. Send those in to the ccbutthehouse@gmail.com email. And otherwise, God bless you. We love you. Peace.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, you guys.